All right, so we are joined all the way from our nation's capital by the owner of Sassy Frizzle Designs, friend of the class, Sassy Harrison, doing some great things there in Washington, D.C. Photographer, speaker, author, graphic designer, entrepreneur, just got some amazing designs. She designs custom apparel, bags, hats, shirts, sweatshirts, pillows, blankets, you name it. And since we're talking about social entrepreneurship, just a great support of her community there in the DMV area. And we are also recording this for our other entrepreneurship students in Madison County Schools at Germantown High School, Madison Central High School, and Ridgeland High School, and for our YouTube channel. So I'll let the sassy one herself tell us about Sassy Frizzle Designs.
Okay. So luckily, I'm a veteran at this, so I kind of know how to do it. But Sassy Frizzle Designs is my baby. It was born out of necessity because of the pandemic. But it's something that I've always wanted to do in terms of making t-shirts. That's where I started. I just wanted to make t-shirts. But after I got, making the t-shirts and stuff, I discovered that I kind of have a knack for making things in general. And I started to expand my product line. And that's turned into other opportunities, including being able to make designs for people, being able to do graphics for people, just all kinds of things have come out of me taking the leap, so to speak, to start making just t-shirts.
Yeah, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs will have that where they're good at something, they like something. How many restaurants have we seen because somebody like to cook, or somebody sees something they're good at, and yeah, you can turn it into a business. But I think a lot of entrepreneurs, for example, a few years ago, last year we had a doctor, and she said, yeah, I was a great doctor. I knew how to take care of patients, but I didn't know how to run a business. So you can have the skill, you can have a great product, which obviously you do, because some of your designs are incredible. But at the end of the day, you can have the best product, but you can still not be successful as a business. So what type of things do business owners that they want to get into their own business need to learn and think about when it comes to not only, obviously your product is very important, but reaching your customers, managing your finances, and marketing, because obviously it's a very competitive business.
So anyone who is interested in starting their own business, who may or may not have the business acumen that it takes, admit that you don't know. Because once you put it out there that, hey, I don't really know this, or hey, I need help in this area, or, hey, I have this wonderful idea, but I don't know how to execute it, ask for help. That is something that I did not do. And so here we are 2 years later, going into year 3, and there are bad habits that I've formed that if I would have asked for help in the beginning, I wouldn't be here. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, because I recognize that I have weaknesses and I know exactly how to get that help now. But that would be the first piece of advice that I would give anybody. Everything that you think you know, divide that in half and try again. And then ask for help to find out those things that you do not know. Because even if someone's interested in starting a business that is the direct opposite of what you're trying to do, business is business, right? Accounting is accounting. There's different ways to do different things in accounting, but it all remains the same at the end of the day.
Yeah, and a lot of entrepreneurs, they make the mistake of they try to do everything on their own, not knowing that there are businesses that specialize in adding small businesses. We have another friend of the class in New Jersey who owns a company that specializes in accounting and finances for minority-owned female small businesses. That's all she does.
I need her contact information.
I will get it to you. She's in Montclair, New Jersey, but she specializes in handling the accounting procedures for small businesses, because she deals with people like you that may not have that business background. It's not that you're dumb; you just weren't trained in how to do accounting. So she makes sure that they stay afloat and that they're making the finances go the right way. It could be the same thing for advertising. Some people may have a great product, but they don't know how to advertise it. So staying on top of all that, like you said, admitting you don't know can be the difference when it comes to a business succeeding or failing. Now, one thing that you hit on your website, and you have a great new design, by the way, that's changed the last time you came, but with your design on your website, and we're talking about social entrepreneurship and mission and vision statements right now. And you, on your About Us section, you make it very clear that yes, you want to deliver a quality product, and you have quality quality shirts. You don't have the cheap stuff, so you're getting what you pay for. But you make it very clear that you are trying to give a voice to the underrepresented communities, and that
That
you
is
are
why I
trying
do
to
this.
give a community service because you have designs that specialize to certain populations. I mean, obviously, you have stuff that anybody can buy as well, but you have designs that people may not find other places, and you want to give those people a voice. So,
Exactly.
talk a bit about about the way you serve your community and the way that still can generate a profit.
So the reason that I am the way that I am when it comes to giving a voice to the voiceless is because I have been that person. As a matter of fact, for almost 30 years, I didn't have my own voice. I was afraid to speak up and speak out. I was afraid to be good at something. I was afraid to walk into a room because I felt like everybody else was going to be prettier than me, smarter than me, like all these different things. And to put a message on a t-shirt and know that it empowers somebody to be okay with walking into that room. Because now, look, this is how you define me, not what you think, not what you see. I am taking control and I am defining you when I walk into this room. That's super important because I know how it felt when I was empowered to use my voice. And if a t-shirt can do that for somebody that I touched with my two hands and sent to them, that's priceless for me. Because life is not about anything other than being able to live to your fullest potential, so.
Yeah, and you've expanded to be on Etsy. So I mean, you're literally reaching a market. I mean, obviously you focus on the DC area, but you've got a market that's reaching worldwide now.
Worldwide.
So how have you been able to answer the demand on that? Because obviously the word's getting out. I mean, and you've got national exposure with your WSA story, but what are you doing to change to meet that demand?
So I am changing the way that I market my products. So for example, if you look on my website, there's hundreds of things that you can choose from, right? But I want to make sure that I focus on either a particular collection or a particular product at a certain time during the year. Because if I know that I'm going to be generating that product over and over and over and over and over again, I can plan out and prepare to meet that need, all while doing the one-offs of, other orders. For example, we're going into October, and one of your students from last year had a question about apparel because he liked scary movies, that kind of thing, and I didn't have any. Well, October 1st, I'll be launching apparel that was inspired by that one student.
Wow.
I don't know if he's still there or whatever, but if
I got to go back and see who that was. I got to tell him.
Let him know that just hearing from him, I remember that for a whole year. And I was like, you know what? I have to make sure that I do something different because that's a need that was presented that I couldn't meet right then. And I made a note. And so that kind of helped me to change, like I said, the way that I market my products and my collections, that kind of thing. Because if I'm thinking like the consumer, oh yeah, fall, Halloween, Christmas is coming, people are thinking about stocking stuffers. I had to kind of unplug from, the creative and think like the consumer so that I could better meet their needs.
Yeah, and you also have and you think ahead about what's coming. You got some great senior gear, where it's a knockoff of the Michael Jordan logo. That's really and just for for people that don't know, all of your designs are original. You design them all yourself, and you come up with that. We got a question about that too, but that's meeting a need ahead of time. You're going to have people buying senior gear. Go ahead and design it, get it out. It's
and I have a senior this year.
Oh, congratulations! But it's September now, but that need is coming, and you've met the need already, and it's available to buy right now on your website.
Yeah, and another, just to kind of piggyback off of what you said, another way that I've added revenue is I sell my designs. So that's what's called passive income. I set it up, you click the link, you download it. I don't even know you did it.
Oh, wow.
And so that also puts my brand in places that it would otherwise never be because those aren't the people that I necessarily serve. So you might look up and you'd be like, I've seen that before. Pretty sure you have.
Yeah, and in your type business, because it's so competitive, the more people that and you have brand ambassadors, the more people that can see it, the more it will bring to you. Because obviously the apparel business is not going away. With the way social media is rising, it's not, and it's just keying in on on that need. And something I always say in here in this class is that if people will buy it, you need to sell it. And if people will pay it, you need to charge it. And what you've done, we talked about this last time, is that the way you've justified, because a lot of young business owners, especially young Black business owners, they fall in the trap of not charging enough. And I see it all the time. They're trying to be the cheapest because their friends are all 16 years old and they don't want to sell to anybody above that. But you justify being able to have a little bit higher price, and you're not ripping people off. You're getting a better quality shirt, so that your supply costs are a little bit higher, but you make up for that by charging $1, $2, or here or there. And
that's literally what I did over the last year. There's some stuff that kind of stayed at the same price, but with the redesign of the website, like that was very intentional. I wanted to go towards a more luxury feel.
Absolutely.
So that I could then justify raising the cost on certain items, right? I don't want to price out my original market. I don't want the people who started with me to be like, oh, well, no, I can't do that anymore. But at the same time, there are how many 8 billion people in the world, and I haven't met all of them. I haven't touched all of them. So I need to do things to bring in, more people, more eyes, more dollars.
Yeah, and being able to say that you can't get this anywhere else, that also is a huge selling point. Because obviously there's licensing issues to where you could sell a trademark of somebody else, but it's not going to have the same exclusive feel to it. So being able to find things that can, and the word I always use in class here is perceived value. So if people think they're getting a deal, they will pay it. And then also, if you read your reviews, you also do think you have great deals with shipping, and you really work with communication on people who want the personalized items.
Yeah, I try.
Now, before I get to some of these questions, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about your MPHC background, because you're a member of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, and we have several MPHC teachers here at the school. We have AKA Delta Sigma Theta, Zeta Phi Beta, Alpha Phi Alpha, Kappa Alpha Psi, just off the top of my head. So we have a few of the adults here that are members of MPHC organizations, and I've dealt with a lot in my life, and they're great organizations. But for kids that are seeing this that may be interested in MPHC, whether it be on a collegiate or a graduate level, I think there needs to be a little bit of a myth busting, if you will. It's not just the stepping and the strolling and all that, and all that's a lot of fun, especially on college campus. It's really cool, beautiful color, and you sell a big collection of MPHC material, which all looks great, especially with the Sigma Gamma Rho. But there's a lot more to the MPHC organizations than just the parties and the stepping.
As a matter of fact, I became a member of Sigma Gamma Rho 21 years ago. So my mindset 21 years ago is nowhere near where it is today. And this is, I know you hear all the time, one day when you get older, it won't be like this. Well, I used to roll my eyes when people said that to me, and I can't believe that I'm the one one day it's not going to be like this. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with being attracted to the stepping and the strolling and the parties and the colors and the fun and the camaraderie, like all of that. If that's what brings you in to the sister or the brotherhood, so be it. Don't let that be the only thing that sustains you, though, because what ends up happening is you are wasting time, effort, energy, and money by doing that. Being a member of an MPHC organization or any organization, period, is only as good as you make it, right? So you enhance whatever organization you join, not the other way around. The organization is not going to make you better. It's not going to make you anything that you are not already. You are just surrounding yourself with people that will help cultivate your best self. But again, if you are not there for those reasons, you'll find yourself frustrated with being a part of a club that you're not getting anything out of.
Yeah, but
so take that with you, seniors.
Yeah, but there's so much community service. There's so many scholarship opportunities, all kinds of business networking. And I've actually judged a step show in my life, so it was a great experience for me. And they are a whole lot of fun, and it's a great part of the culture of the MPHC. But I just think it's important for our young people to understand that it is so much more than that. They are great organizations to be involved in if that's something you're interested in. But it will get you in contact with a great network, but it will expose you to a lot of things that you haven't been able to do in high school or just as a regular college student. But I
want to reiterate that joining a Greek letter organization will not change you as a person. If you are service oriented, don't wait until you join an organization to start doing service. If you are, if you like to feed the homeless, start doing that now, because all you'll be able to do is bring other people with you when you join an organization, and, not just, anyway, yes, that's why you should do it.
Anytime I have an MPHC member, I like to talk about that, because I think I just want to get the truth out there about them, because they are great organizations, but we just need to know what all goes on. But I got some questions from the students, and these are all great. So I'm going to get to all of them. And these are all seniors. And they've all come up with original business concepts for the class. And some of these we briefly talked about, so we're going to get more into them. The first one is Miles Woodard. He's interested in the gaming industry. But this would apply to both apparel and gaming. And he said, when you do custom designs, how do you deal with copyright issues?
All right, so I am not a copyright lawyer, so my understanding is very limited. I tell customers, do not bring me something that somebody else created, period, point blank, ever. I'm not going to duplicate anybody's work. However, you want me to change the font on a design that you saw? That's perfectly legal, right? If you see something that is in purple and orange and you want it in silver and gold, that's perfectly legal. So it all goes into your integrity. Like, how do you handle your everyday life? Would you walk into Target and steal a jacket because you like it? No, you wouldn't do that, right? But if you went to Goodwill and you saw a jacket that kind of looked like the one at Target, and you added a few little things to make it your own, so it's really, really, really up to you and your integrity all day long.
Yeah, and the licensing issues with with the logos, you have the knockoff of the logo. That's not an infringement. A parody of something is not an infringement under federal law, but it's important to know that kind of stuff anytime you have any type of graphic, anything media, anything photo, any of that. It's easy to get the information, but it's very important. This is
I
Brian.
went through that with the insurrection T-shirt that I did. Like,
Oh yeah, that was so cool.
Anyway.
This is Brian Perry, and he asked, what is your favorite thing to design?
I'm thinking about that because it's changing. Like, I'm falling in love with different things. Right now, I'm actually working on this dress for a member of Delta Sigma Theta. And it's kind of like you would think about a traditional line jacket with the letters and all that, but it's on a dress, and it gives me the freedom to, like, be a little more creative. Like, a T-shirt is a T-shirt, 10 inches by 10 inches, 11 by 10. Like, it's only so much you can do. But when someone says, I have this idea, and they tell me all this stuff, and then I make it happen, that's my favorite. So I don't think it's necessarily a favorite thing to design, but I love custom orders, especially when it's somebody who's like, I know this is a crazy idea, and then I make it happen. They're like, oh, okay, thanks. Yeah, it's really fulfilling to be able to do that.
Yeah, it really is cool to have any type of talent that can make people happy. It's just, I don't think, it's just important, no matter what talent you have, to really use it. And that's, something we're talking about with social entrepreneurship. It's such a big deal. The money will come if you're following and doing things the right way. Now, this is a Marion Bolden. He's interested in the trucking and transport industry. But he asked, how do you come up with your prices if you're doing a custom design?
Well, I actually have a formula to do that.
Okay.
Right? So I calculate what it's going to cost me to make it. If it's a T-shirt, I know how much it costs for me to get that T-shirt. I know how much the supplies are. But one thing that's also very important is I pay myself for every order. And by pay myself, that means some of every order goes away to saving. And some of that is my hourly rate. So I take the costs, I take my hourly rate, or excuse me, not my hourly rate, but what I would like to make. So if it's going to take me 15 minutes and my hourly rate is $20, then I know I'm going to make what, $5, $4 off of that. And then I double it. And then if I get a number that ends in 24, 53, then 50, round up, 25. Like, it's super simple. I used to struggle with pricing in the beginning because I was one of those people, I didn't want to charge too much or that kind of thing. But once I actually found, because it wasn't my formula, I found and tweaked a formula. It's been working for me, and it's kind of second nature. I don't have to think about it. I just drop stuff into my spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And it does it for me.
Yeah. And like we said, I mean, I cannot tell, because we've had kids come out of this class, start their own business. And the first thing I tell them is you're not charging enough. I mean, some of them, like, they need to be doubling, and you're going to work yourself to death. And then, being the cheapest isn't always the most profitable. Yeah. This is Justin Clerk, and he's got 2 questions. He's also interested in the gaming industry. But he's asked, was there ever a time since you've opened you wanted to close?
Every single day. Every single day. This is not easy. Like if you look at Instagram, you think, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, and they're sitting on the hood of their Bentley with their Louis bags and outside of whatever restaurant they just spent. Like, that is so unrealistic. It's not true. It's just not. And I am okay with the fact that I'm like, I don't want to do this today, because I reward myself when I get up and I do it anyway. Yeah. And that keeps my job from being a chore, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody has days where they're like, yeah, I'm not really, with school, you're a senior. January, you won't want to come to class in any sense of the word, because you're almost finished, right? But the reward is you keep showing up and then you graduate. And it's the exact same way with your business. Like, oh my goodness, I don't want to do this, but I get up and I do it. And it's so rewarding at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because so many people say, I want to work for myself, I want to be the boss, I'm going to set my own hours, but they don't understand the work that it requires. And even though I'm a huge fan of her music, that Jasmine Sullivan song just makes me mad, where he talks about starting a business is so easy. I'm like, man, will y'all please just not listen to that? But the second part of his question is, what is the greatest challenge you've had to overcome while owning your own business?
Pride. So when you start out really good at something, for lack of a better word, and everything's going well, people are like, oh my gosh, she is doing it. When things start to take a downturn, if you're not careful, your pride can get in the way, and you won't ask for help, or you won't let people know, hey, listen, I'm struggling right now. And I went through that. That really has been the hardest thing for me to work. I can do it with my eyes closed. Marketing, all that good stuff, it comes second nature to me. Asking people for help or admitting that I don't have it all together, that is where I struggle. But I'm working on it. Yeah. So.
Well, that's a great segue into our next question. This is Octavia Johnson. She's interested in the cosmetology industry. She actually just had to leave, but she's going to watch this recording later. And she asked, what do you do to take care of your mental health?
So I have what is called my Sassy Suite at my house. So it is the girl version of a man cave. I spend most of my time there when I'm not sleeping or working. There's TV, there's my Xbox. I have a giant bean bag that you might have read about in the article. That's where I do all my thinking, but that's just my little nook. And oftentimes I will shut the entire world out, including my husband, like, everybody, leave me alone. Because if I'm not good for me, I'm not good for anybody, which is, we just talked about this morning. I was like, at 7:45, you want me to go somewhere? All right, I'm going, because my body and my mind needed that. If I hadn't have gone, I don't know how good I would have been for you this afternoon. So it's a good thing.
No, just making any time for us would have been great. Now, and we're almost out of time. And as always, we just thank you so much for joining us. But before we go, you've had an amazing, and you've had an amazing story of how this all started. You've had an amazing past, amazing life. And me and you're about the same age, so they all think we're old. But we got young people here that I'm right there with you. But we have young people here, and you grew up as a young Black person in America, and made some amazing leaps and bounds, overcome some amazing obstacles. But yet you're getting all the credit you deserve now. And like you said, it wasn't easy. So what can these young people do now that are in similar situations that you were in? And even I was in growing up. The world doesn't owe anybody anything. I don't care what color you are, but especially it's even harder to be a Black person in America. So what can they do now to overcome those obstacles they're going to face? It's not a matter if, it's a matter of when.
Of when, right? So one thing that I didn't do when I was with you last year was really, really just be honest about what I've overcome. You know, I'm a lot more comfortable with my story. I was comfortable then, but I didn't really know you, Greg. So I'm a lot more comfortable with my story. And what I want to share with you, especially as seniors, is there's a lot of things that are going to be changing in the next year or so of your life. But I want you to understand that the decisions that you are making right now directly affect the rest of your life. For example, when I was a young Black girl, a senior, my focus wasn't on my future. My focus was on how can I get away from this traumatic situation that I'm in. And so because I had a lot of trauma going on, I found myself in prison for crimes that I did not commit. I served almost 4 years in prison because I did not know myself and I just wasn't okay with being who I am. So what I want to leave you all with is this. If you are in a situation and it doesn't feel right, leave. If you're with a person and it doesn't feel right, leave. Understand that after you turn 18, those little bitty mistakes become real big ones. And then you have to live with them until you take your last breath. Making a mistake right now as you're going into adulthood is fine. You're going to make them. It's okay to make mistakes, but be informed with every single decision that you are about to make. Everything that you are about to embark on, again, determines the quality of your life for the rest of your life. And if somebody would have told me at 17, you might not want to make those types of decisions because at 40, you're going to be upset about it, I would have really greatly appreciated that. So entrepreneurship aside, you have the rest of your life ahead of you. Please, 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 with everything and make wonderful decisions so that when you're 40, you'll be able to share how you've been able to empower all kinds of people all over the world simply because of what you heard today. So
amazing. I look forward to the day we finally get to meet in person. I know it'll happen. You just such an amazing person, amazing story, and an amazing product. But tell us where to find Sassy Frizzle Designs online.
You can find me at sassyfrizzle.com, on all social media platforms at Sassy F Designs. That's SASSY, F is in Frank, Designs. You can ask my birds, who you've heard talking the entire time we've been here. And then, of course, you can send me an email at sassy@sassyfrizzle.com. Mentorship is at my core. If you have other questions that maybe I didn't answer, you didn't get to ask, shoot me an email. If I don't know the answer, I can definitely help find it.
Yeah, and also you're selling some good senior gear. So if anybody's interested in the class of 2023, great senior collection, really cool designs. You're not going to get anywhere else other than her with Sassy Frizzle Designs. So make sure you check that out as well. So Sassy Harrison, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for making some time for us today, all the way from our nation's capital.
You're welcome. Anytime. You know that.
And I will email you the information here in a minute.
Okay.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye, guys. Y'all have a good one.